Today we're going to be talking about a robot vac that maps your house, so stay tuned. Welcome back everyone, it's good to see you again. Today we are going to be talking about this vacuum right here. So the company Amarey reached out to me and asked me if I would take a look at this vacuum. Now I've reviewed vacuums in the past and I did a giant video on what the experience was like to have a robot vacuum for an entire week and run it every single day. I will link that up above. That was a iRobot Roomba. So I will link that up there. But today we're going to be looking at a couple of cool features that this guy offers, and that's its ability to map the area. So the benefit of mapping an area is that it allows the vacuum to pick the most optimal path to make it the most efficient and be able to get every location. So the problem that I had with the Roomba is that it just kind of went all over. It just kind of ping-ponged all over the place. And I noticed that it occasionally missed some spots, if not missed rooms altogether. Depending on how it hit a certain wall, sometimes it would just not get a room. So I was excited to test this guy out, see how it would perform mapping an area and getting all the rooms. So let's start by opening up the box and taking a look at what comes inside. All right, let's take a look at what's in the box. Okay, so we have the vacuum here. We've got some brochures. Got the user's operation guide. Move that all to the side. Where to even begin? I guess we'll take out the vacuum itself. So this is the vacuum. Here's what it looks like on the bottom. Here's what it looks like. That's why it looks like a camera. Okay, now down here we've got the brushes. So we're gonna be using 2 of the brushes, and then we've got 2 backups. This is gonna be for cutting any kind of hair and cleaning the vacuum itself. Got a remote, batteries, filter, power, base station, and a belt. Oh wait, that's not a belt. This is what you would use to mark off areas. The vacuum will not go over this right here. So you would lay this down and then that would prevent it from going into certain rooms if you didn't want it to. Taking a look at the bottom here, we can see these amazing wheels. I mean, these guys are like all-terrain wheels. These things have some major shocks on them right here. So that's good. It can get up into some big areas if you got some big rugs. We have the swivel wheel in front. This is where we're going to be putting our brushes. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your brushes, you're just going to pop them on to these right here. If we take a look here, there are 3 spots. These are your drop sensors. So we got 1 on each side and 1 on the front. That's going to detect if there is a drop so it won't fall off stairs or anything like that. We have a power button here. So this is an on and off power button. And then we've got the catch tray right here. So this already does come with a filter in it. And then there's also an extra one in the box. And when you need to clean the suction out, you're just going to push on the 2 tabs here. This lifts out so that way you can clean this guy too. Put it back in there. And you're ready to go. So there are 2 ways to control this thing. You can either use the remote control that came with it, that's got all of the different features on here, or you can use the app. Now, this vacuum has 3 different cleaning modes. That would be auto, which mostly you're gonna be using. It also has spot, meaning that it's just going to get a certain area. It's gonna go in a circle. And then it also has edge, meaning it's going to get the edge of everything. Now I would recommend the first time you use it, maybe starting with edge. That way you can kind of map out the area and get an idea of what it needs to map out. But then from there, you can just go to auto and use the auto to do the rest of it. There are 3 options for suction. You can do soft, standard, and standard means that it's going to adjust when it feels like it needs to. And then there's also max. I keep mine at standard because if it hits a spot that it feels is extra dirty, it'll auto adjust its suction accordingly. So that's nice to keep it there, and that's just on standard. Something else I like about this vacuum is self-charging. Now my house isn't very big, so it didn't need to do this, but essentially what it will do is that if the battery runs too low in the middle of cleaning, it will return back to the base station, charge itself back up, and then it'll go back out and pick up where it left off. So you don't have to worry about running out of battery or house not getting all the way vacuumed. This vacuum is smart enough to have that covered. All right, the vacuum's all set up. Let's get it started.
Start auto cleaning.
All right, so let's talk about my experience with it. I will say, and maybe warn you guys, that the first time I used this thing, because it was trying to learn the lay of the land and figure out what it needed to do, the battery did die on it. So I did have to return it back to the base station, and it was kind of going all over the place. Like I said, it was trying to learn the area. So it was, when I first got it, I thought this thing wasn't all that great, but after using it 2, 3, and 4 times, it just seems to get smarter each time. It knows exactly what it's going to do. It hits certain areas first and it covers everything. That's the thing that I like actually the most about this guy right here, is that it actually gets every room, every piece of floor. And what I've noticed is that after it does its zigzag pattern through all the floors, it actually will go through and do the edges. And at least for my house, it does the edges twice. Once it does the edges twice, returns to home and it's done. So really impressed with it right there. One thing that I was shocked with compared to the Roomba is this thing is so quiet. When we ran the Roomba upstairs, you could hear the vacuum running upstairs. You didn't have to wonder, is it running or is it not running? You could hear the Roomba. With this guy, I don't know if it's running or not. I can't hear it up there at all. It is so quiet. When it runs in or bumps into a wall, that is super quiet too. It's not putting dings on my wall or scuffing things and scratching things like the other guy did. This one is much more impressive. You can definitely tell it's much more state-of-the-art than the Roomba 690. Another thing I like about this one is that it is supported by Amazon and Google. So if you do want to use your voice to get this thing started or have it return to home, you can do it through either voice control system. Now, there are a couple things I was not a big fan of with this. And the first one is that with the indicator lights on the top of the actual vacuum and on the base station, those stay lit all the time. So for us to keep this in our bedroom, you have these big bright lights that are always on. I'm not a big fan of that. I wish that, like with the Roomba, when that finally docked, I think after 30 seconds, all of those indicator lights shut off. It does not on this one. They do stay lit all the time. So another thing that I'm not a big fan of is that there are no app notifications when the vacuum is finished or when the bin is full. Those were things I kind of, I guess, just got used to with the Roombas. Every time it was finished, I got a text essentially through the app saying the room was finished and went home. And I kind of rely on that, especially since I can't hear it. It's so quiet upstairs. I don't know when it's done. Right now we keep the girls downstairs and say, don't go upstairs, it's vacuuming up there. I now don't know when it's done because I'm not getting a text and there's nothing to turn on. And another thing that I was missing from the Roomba is that the Roomba would also text when the bin is full. This one does not either. So I did actually reach out to the company and ask them about that. They said they were going to bring that up to the developers for future updates. So I hope to see both of those. So my final thoughts on this guy is that I really like it. I love how efficient it is. I love that it's not missing any spots. It's great at getting around obstacles in its way, and it's a really great device for just a set it and forget it. You don't really have to worry about it once it's going. If you guys like this product, I'm gonna have links in the description below. If you have any questions about this, don't hesitate to ask in the comments and I will try to get back to you. If this video is helpful at all, give it a thumbs up. Let me know that you liked it. As always, don't forget to subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you guys in the next video.